Well, fuck. Okay, I get that Cypher Rage can ghost, but do you not think it would have worked better for his fearlessness to be a talent that he had, not an unchangeable disability? You know, it could be like a form of meditation, so that when the character's not in combat, he could still show emotion. They're right in the middle of a deadly asteroid storm, and he's like, I'm bored. Everybody left their seats to do nothing. Where the fuck is everybody going?
How are they gonna prepare for an asteroid fucking, like, attack?
You get out your cutlasses and you get ready.
Get out your cutlasses and
You
rope.
have to fight them with the swords.
He tells them to wormhole travel to the closest planet so that they can escape. They escape the asteroids, but the ship took a lot of damage. So in the future, it looks like oxygen masks are cordless, and there's just one guy with a bag of them passing them out. So the life suit is kept behind the chair, but not the oxygen masks. So like, if that guy gets knocked out during an emergency, nobody gets to breathe. But hey, at least you got your life suit. Excuse me while I cover up this leak with some paper. So the ship is now fucked and they need to land on a nearby planet. Will Smith then notices a very slowly blinking light and then presses it.
Warning.
Okay, so that was a button.
This planet has been placed under Class 1 quarantine by the Interplanetary Authority.
That seems like kind of an important thing to know before you land there. So why would you design the incoming emergency message function like that? There's no beeping noise to get your attention or anything? Nah, that would be a slight annoyance to the pilots, and their comfort is far more important than the lives of every single person on board. Will Smith says they need to land somewhere else.
This ship is gonna tear apart at any moment.
The ship's gonna tear apart. And here I thought you needed to land because you were at risk of drifting in space forever with no engines. I don't understand why it would tear apart at any moment. Why exactly is the ship going to tear apart at any moment? I mean, you escaped the asteroid storm, and I get that space is a vacuum that's exerting some sort of force on your ship, but considering the ship has not torn apart, what exactly leads you to the conclusion that it will at any moment? Whatever, it's because of that they need to land on the planet. So Cypher Rage goes back to where Katai is. Dang, he's lucky that the cordless oxygen mask person was right there. This is a really shitty system. Anyway, he tries to calm Katai down to stop him from fucking hyperventilating. Why is Katai the only one strapped in? Where the fuck is everybody else? Apparently these chairs are for sleeping only and not to be used for any sort of emergency. Cypher Rage managed to make it all the way back to his seat, and what, everybody else is just running around fixing holes with paper? What could you possibly be doing that's more important than strapping in before a fucking crash landing? Oh fuck, it looks like I should have strapped in. What the fuck? So when I first saw the movie, I assumed that one of the people that was now flying out in that direction was Cypher Rage. But that is not the case because he did not only survive, but after the crash, he is found still inside the ship. What the fuck? So where did these other people come from if they didn't get sucked out in the same direction as Will Smith in the first place?
Okay, so there's a minor breach in the far like away from the camera, further past those guys. A small breach. Okay, so then low pressure, the air goes out that way, Will Smith gets sucked that way.
But we don't see it.
But he doesn't feel fear. He can ghost.
It's just off camera though.
Because he can ghost, he's able to grab on. He grabs onto a ledge and a door closes around him. Because it knows he's in there and the ship is smart. Then, there's another bigger breach on the camera side from Jaden Smith. I'll actually show that breach. And that's when people start flying out of ship. Breach 1, breach 2, doors opening.
Doors? What doors?
The doors are off screen. That's why they didn't die from the first breach. They would have gotten sucked out of the ship with Will Smith.
But, no wait, the breach, where, so was the first explosion on the other side of the door?
The ship has a hallway going along the side, and then there's doors into this inner compartment. The inner compartment stays
It's completely
sealed.
separate.
Yeah, it's separate, but it stays sealed the whole time. Most of the people are inside of that compartment. Now the breach happens, and the only two people in the hallway area are Jaden and Will Smith. Jaden Smith is strapped in, so he's safe, but Will Smith is like, oh fuck, and he goes the other way.
Why did the other people not get sucked on in the same way that Will Smith did?
They're closed off. They're separated.
But
the door is closed.
What?
And they heard something happen.
And then they came out of the door.
They heard something happen, and they were like, oh shit. Explosion. And then as soon as the second explosion happened, they came out to see what happened, and it didn't work out for them. They made some bad choices.
So Will Smith got sucked into a different part of the ship, but not out of the ship.
He saved his own life. But not really, because he would have been equally as safe or safer if he buckled himself. But he wouldn't have been able to be a badass. Alternative, more elegant solution. The breach is small on the other side of the ship, but it still creates a significant amount of flow. Will Smith slides
Did
up.
not fit through the hole?
He grabs onto the edges of the hole and seals it so that nobody else can fall out. When the other hull breaks, all the people in the room flow out the backside out of the hole that Will Smith can't block, but Will Smith holds on and he survives.
Or because he's blocking that one hole, and one hole's on one side and the other hole's on the other side, it cancels itself out, and he doesn't get sucked out either side because he's in between both holes.
I guess he is being sucked out by that.
By both at the same time, and therefore not at all.
He finds himself in an equilibrium.
Okay, so I get that it might have cost a bit more money to animate the ship actually crashing, but that's the best sound effect that you can fucking come up with. I'm sure that's exactly what it would sound like. So Katai wakes up after the crash. He takes off his oxygen mask like a fucking idiot, and then puts it back on when he realizes he can't breathe. It looks like there's a special security feature on the ship designed for when it crashes. It's trying to seal itself off so it can regulate oxygen within its own atmosphere, but there's a body in the way and it just keeps going back up and trying again. So instead of putting in the effort to drag him onto the ship in the hopes that he could maybe be saved, he just pushes him outside. And wouldn't you know it, now it's sealed and oxygen can regulate within the ship. Yay! But can someone tell me what the fuck is the point in designing it so that it can form its shape around objects that are in the way if it's just going to go back up because something's in the way? You'd think that that's the reason why they designed it to shape like that. Theoretically, if it just stopped when it was down and didn't go back up, it would still be sealed. Nope, something's in the way, sorry. No breathing for you. He finds his dad and he's more bored than ever. They then realize that they're literally the only ones on the entire fucking ship to survive. Are safety drills even a thing in the future or what? He tells Katai where to find the emergency beacon in the cockpit, and even though it was where he was supposed to find it, it's badly damaged. Apparently the place they keep it doesn't do a very good job at keeping it safe. He helps his dad onto this thing. Cypher decides to update the mission log with their failure, and it seems like Katai's now hooked on pushing over dead bodies. I love how effortlessly he did that. Yeah, I'm just gonna push this body over here with my one arm. And his other hand's like, yeah, I'm gonna help. Nope, no, I'm not. Was his dead body in a seated position? Why did you do this? Cypher explains that they can't use the distress beacon because it's too badly damaged. But there is an extra one in the tail section of the ship, which just happens to be over 100 kilometers away. Well, whatever, you're experienced, Dad. You can go get it, right?
Both my legs are broken. One very badly.
Well, fuck. Not only are both of his legs broken, but one of them very badly. The other one, not so much. So Cypher gives Katai a rundown of what he's going to need to do to save the day.
You have air filtration inhalers. The fluid will coat your lungs, increasing your oxygen extraction.
The atmosphere has changed.
Yes,
That people can't breathe anymore.
Yes.
So they have to kind of eat these Oreo cookies
Yeah,
that are white.
they're kind of like inhalers, and you have to like, and it coats your lungs, so you can extract more oxygen from it.
Okay, now he has something that he can bring with him so he can breathe in the environment. Wait, I thought the oxygen mask he had earlier was cordless. Like, obviously it's future science, but what about it makes it so that it can work inside the ship but supposedly not work outside the ship? You'd think that Katai would ask these questions, but no, it seems like the script literally forgot that these things existed. Or maybe in the script they were just written as oxygen masks, but then somewhere down the line in the design process, someone thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the oxygen masks were cordless because it's the future? And just nobody realized that that would clash with Katai needing to take these fucking things every 20 to 24 hours? Well, I guess if he could just carry around that oxygen mask everywhere, then he wouldn't be in as much danger, ha!
I will be able to see everything that you see and what you do not see.
Okay, so Katai doesn't have that much to worry about because he's got the biggest badass in the galaxy looking out for him.
This is a Class 1 quarantined planet. Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans.
Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans, as in within the 1,000 years that humans weren't there? Not only would the course of evolution over only 1,000 years not even really matter, but how would creatures in the environment evolve to kill a species that's absent from it? Like, you understand that evolution is just natural selection, right? So how would the ability to kill humans specifically be enough of a biological benefit that members of the same species wouldn't pass on their genes? Because that's really the only way that something can be evolved to kill humans. Otherwise, there's no reason why those genetic traits would become dominant in the species. Unless by evolved to kill humans, he just means evolved to kill most things. The most rational explanation as to how this could be possible is to assume that the supposed evolution that took place was entirely before humans even left, which really makes you question why they wouldn't mention that at all in the beginning. Like, you wouldn't have even had to add any extra dialogue. Just replace some of the stock footage with humans being killed by some of the creatures before they evacuate. Literally all the visuals you showed for reasons why humans left Earth consists of fossil fuel burning, industrialization, and natural disasters. So either these creatures that evolved to kill humans were part of the reason why we left and they just didn't show or mention anything, or the creatures that remained on Earth evolved to kill a species that was completely absent over the course of 1,000 years. Fucking genius!
Started off looking at it as science fiction, but we were surprised to see how it's moving away from science fiction, and this possibility is more legitimate science.
Do you know where we are?
No, sir.
This is Earth.
Earth. So the part of the ship he's headed towards is the part of the ship that kept the Ursa, and neither of them are certain as to whether or not it escaped. But Will Smith reassures him that he'll be keeping an eye out using the video feed. Oh, I get it, so if he doesn't learn how to ghost by the end of the movie, then he'll become a real ghost. I'm still bored. So now Katai's adventure starts.
Take a knee. Root yourself in this present moment now.
Are you like my spiritual advisor or something?
What do you feel?
My body feels heavier.
He explains that the gravitational pull on Earth is different than at home. In the very next shot, he's climbing up a fucking cliff. He makes it to the top and yay, everything's so pretty, motherfucking birds and shit. Cypher sends out a bunch of drones so he can see the area better. Man, just look at all those drones. If only one of them had a tiny extendable arm so that it could go to the beacon and set it off and not have to risk your son's life. Thanks, Obama. He explains that most of the planet freezes over at night, so he should find one of the several hot spots each evening so he doesn't freeze to death. Cypher gets some painkillers for his broken leg. You know, just because the future has improved hologram technology doesn't mean that companies wouldn't find it more cost-effective or efficient to actually just print the fucking thing on the label. That case is clearly designed to hold those painkillers, but it has to look pretty or else it won't work. Like, couldn't every argument as to why there should be holograms there also apply to just why there should be an LED screen or something? Are holograms now cheaper than LEDs?
The other thing I thought was really interesting was the user interface. The holographic imagery and all the controls were actually very futuristic, and I think that they'll stand the test of time. They did such a good job with that, you know, 10, 20 years hence, it'll still look futuristic.
Whatever, let's just assume that it's more practical and cost-effective to install holograms on every single container. He is now conflicted with the fact that it will impair his abilities to look out for his son. Then we get a great flashback featuring him on a video call with his daughter.
A boy I know had this.
Put down the book, he's gonna die of boredom.
It's a real book from a museum. It's Moby Dick.
Great, it's Moby Dick, who gives a shit? It's not like I could have figured that out with you holding the title in front of the fucking camera.
He said I could even hold on to it.
Hold on to what?
The book, Dad.
It disturbs me to think of what was going through his mind when he was confused about what the boy was letting her hold on to. Just try to forget that I said that. He's so bored he's just looking into the distance. Just please fucking hang up, you're so annoying. I wish an Ursa would come and kill you. And what the fuck is with those guys in the background? They are completely fucking still. When I first saw the beginning of this scene, I thought that he might have been in some kind of computerized training program that allowed him to pause. But then you can see this guy kind of cough, so I have no idea what the fuck it was going for, but it's really awkward either way. So the flashback ends and he decides that he's not gonna drug himself up just yet. Not even sure why that flashback happened in the first place. I mean, did that influence his decision? He's like, I better save my son, at least he's not as boring as her. Did the audience need to be reminded of the fact that he loves his family because of how emotionless he's been throughout the entire movie? I wonder if they had to sand that log down or something so he didn't get splinters. Hey, a hyena. Okay, so you're actively looking for the Ursa.
Where are you?
But you haven't sent a drone to like the crash site yet? Like, you know exactly where it is because you've just sent your son on a mission to go there, but you don't consider that to be the first place you should send a drone? You know, inspect the crash site and see if the Ursa has even escaped? I guess maybe if he could feel fear, then he'd start worrying about consequences. Katai walks around for a bit and all of a sudden his suit changes color.
My suit's turned black. I like it, but I think it's something bad.
I'm tracking a life form moving toward you from the west. It is right there, Katai. Recognize your power. This will be your creation.
Okay, I don't subscribe to the idea that you should listen to your parents regardless of what they say, but you are literally ignoring the advice of the sole person responsible for saving humanity from fucking extinction. This guy knows his shit better than any fucking person on the planet, which isn't saying much because the only other person on the planet is you. But Jesus Christ, just fucking listen to him. He's trying to save your ass. Okay, so now all these other ones are just popping up on the radar, like they were all completely motionless before for some reason. Were they just chilling out, maxing, relaxing? All cool. Okay, so this little shit isn't gonna listen, so he's just gonna run. Does nobody fucking hate it in chase scenes when the thing that's chasing the main character is clearly faster than them, but every time it cuts to a new shot, it's like they gave him a fucking 10-second head start? Fucking hardcore.
Drop it. Yeah.
He manages to make it to the water and escape.
Put my damn cutlass away. You are not being followed. Take a knee.
You want to die today, that is fine, but you're not going to kill me. You are going to have to administer the antitoxin in sequence.
I can't do this by myself, Dad. Please come get me.
Yeah, please come get me.
Katai, inject yourself directly into your heart.
I can't feel my hands. Dad, I can't feel my hands.
Press it into the ground.
Oh shit, this is gonna be awesome.
Roll over on it and press it into the ground, Katai.
Oh, Dad! Oh, that's too good. I'm still bored. So after having passed out for the second time today, he's awoken by his father saying that he needs to get the fuck out of there.
The temperature is dropping 5 degrees every 10 minutes. You've got 9.7 kilometers to the hot spot.
So Katai runs along.
Who was it, Mr. Ranger? Who was it? Watch him go. Watch him go.
And Cypher Rage gives himself a shunt, and then has another flashback with Senshi.
Come on, Dad, blow.
Now, you know there's no way I can actually do that from here.
No, I think you can.
It's crazy to think that this was supposed to be heartfelt. He seriously felt as if he needed to remind her that you can't blow out candles through a video feed. Or maybe it was less directed at her and more directed at the audience. But wasn't it the most fucking obvious thing in the world that someone else was going to blow it out for him? He was so bored he forgot his son existed. So Katai makes it to the hotspot and is told to use one more of the oxygen things. But uh-oh, it looks like 2 of them broke. That ought to add some conflict. Why the container specifically designed to hold them is so bad at doing its job, I don't know. Those creases in the fabric would imply that it's made out of some solid material. I have no fucking clue why they broke. But now the movie is more intense. Katai decides to lie to his dad.
Count off remaining.
4 vials remain, sir.
Repeat.
Okay, so you see his heart rate go up and you're clearly suspicious that he's lying.
4 vials remain, sir.
I thought you had cameras everywhere that could see everything. And even if there are no drones nearby, there's supposed to be cameras on his fucking suit.
So I will be able to see everything that you see and what you do not see.
And even if the cameras couldn't look inwards, you could probably notice that he dropped them on the ground. Or maybe he just knows that he's lying because he knows everything and he doesn't really need to check the cameras. So now it's raining. What? I thought that if the surface was mostly frozen at nighttime, that would also mean that the atmosphere above the surface would also be very cold or colder. It was my assumption that hot spots were only hot because of something below the surface. But apparently it's the cold spots, because why the fuck would it be raining instead of snowing? Whatever, it sets the tone perfectly for this wonderful monologue. Katai asks his dad to tell the story of the first time he ever ghosted. And it feels as though we're supposed to feel some sort of emotion despite the fact that the character is delivering the lines with no emotion. Dude, he's just bored. He just wants to go home.
I can see my blood bubbling up, mixing with the sunlight, and I think, wow, that's really pretty.
What?
I see his pincer through my shoulder, and I decide I don't want that in there anymore. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice.
Well, fear is also a biological response to help you survive, but I guess it's convenient for you that you live in a world where fear is a bad thing. Convenient for you, not so convenient for the audience.
It can't find me.
Oh, so as soon as you're not scared, then you become invisible. It's got a highly evolved sense of smell that can detect your fucking pheromones, but the instant you stop secreting those very specific pheromones, it's unable to smell any part of you whatsoever. Like, didn't you say you had an open wound in that story? It couldn't smell your blood? Everything in this movie was so bad that it distracted me from his horrendous facial hair.